Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television. A reminder of our top stories. Wife of the President, Aisha Buhari, returns home after a long absence from the country, clears the air about the video circulating on social media about her. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu declares state of emergency on Lagos roads, orders massive construction work on critical roads and highways. Police rescue 9 children kidnapped in Kano State and trafficked to Onitsha, Anambra State 5 years after their abduction. And the United States pulls out troops from Syria as Turkey extends its attack on Kurds than originally planned. For more information on our top stories and others, please visit our website, channelstv.com. youtube.com/channelsweb has videos of our shows. Now, barring last-minute changes, the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, will on Wednesday, October the 16th, begin an indefinite strike. That's according to the leadership of the Labour Union, which is asking its members nationwide to prepare to down tool. This, the unionists say, is due to the failure of government to meet its demand on the implementation of the 30,000 naira new minimum wage. The organised labour is asking for a consequential adjustment of 29% salary increase for officers on salary levels 7 to 14 and 24% for officers on levels 15 to 17. But the government is insisting on 11% increase for officers on levels 7 to 14 and 6.5% for workers on levels 15 to 17. The spokesperson of the NLC is asking members of the group to coordinate preparations with the Trade Union Congress and the Joint Public Service Negotiating Council. They're planning a showdown in case the negotiation between them and the federal government on Tuesday, October the 15th, fails. Elsewhere, for Nigeria's aviation industry to become more viable and stable, there is the need for regulatory authorities to do away with some practices in the sector. Now, that's the view of the chairman of Air Peace Limited, Chief Allen Onyema. He told Channels Television's Ladia Keredoluale on our current affairs program, Newsnight, that these harmful practices include multiple designated local routes for foreign airlines and taxation.
First and foremost, the access given to some international airlines into the country should be curbed. It is not doing the country any good. The multi-designation given to some of them should be stopped. It is not doing us any good. If they want to do multi-designation, they can get together and get some local airlines to help them take those passengers. That's the only time we can support the indigenous airlines to grow. That is number one, but we need to understand it. The clamor for everybody to have international flight from international airlines flying to their kitchen should be stopped. Because when you ask questions, you hear that, this state wants a direct flight. They've contacted Ethiopia to be flying straight to their doorsteps. This one, no. We cannot encourage that. It's like allowing the traders to import everything they want to import because people want to wear imported things, people want everything imported, then toothpick and everything, then you allow it because that's what people want. So it should be stopped. Number 3 is about the charges, which I'm sure government is working, to address the multiple levies and all manner of charges.
For the full interview with Chief Onyema, don't miss Newsnight tomorrow, Monday, October the 14th at 9 p.m, only on Channels Television. Away from aviation, the Imo State Governor, Emeka Ihedioha, says his administration is investing in the agricultural and industrial sectors in order to boost internally generated revenue. Governor Ihedioha, who was speaking during the maiden edition of the state's Pension Stakeholders Forum in Owerri, the capital, asked residents to support his agenda to develop the state's economy.
The chairman of NLC.
It's the maiden edition of the Imo Pension Stakeholders Forum. Present are members of the Nigerian Union of Pensioners, Nigeria Labour Congress, and government officials. The arrival of Governor Emeka Ihedioha kickstarts the event for the day. It's an opportunity for the pensioners and the Labour Union to bear their minds concerning the challenges they've gone through.
I remember in those days when somebody retires, you are at home, you are going home as a retiree, you see him with a brand new vehicle. You see an old man driving by the side of the road, an indication that this man has retired and has received his gratuity. He's not going to enjoy life. But today, the moment the letter of retirement comes, it will be high blood pressure.
What crime did we commit in this country? Incidentally, we were born in Nigeria when Nigeria was a decent country. People of my age grade enjoy this country. We came out from secondary school, we got job. We came out from university, we got job and got car. As a bachelor, I live in 3-bedroom house in a bachelor. But today, our children leave university, no job. Which way forward?
However, this good news by the state government to resolve the issue will no doubt bring relief to the pensioners.
By God's grace, we have completed all the processes. Between Monday and Tuesday, we will complete the integration with the banks. And I want to believe that by God's grace, His Excellency is ready to commence 48 hours thereafter.
Governor Hedioha is also worried about the revenue base of the state. He explains that his administration is seeking ways to boost it.
I am working on IGR. To improve IGR, we have been thinking of alternative ways of creating wealth in our state. So I'm looking at farming, because the farming will take a little while to begin to generate revenue. We're looking at reviving our industries. The state of Imo is so bad that I understand the difficulties. But that's why I chose the mantra to rebuild Imo State.
If things work out as promised by the Imo State government, less than a week from this meeting, pensioners will have every cause to smile to the bank, as all hitches faced in the payment of pensions would have been removed.
So while governors are brainstorming, the federal government hopes to raise as much as 6 trillion naira in non-oil revenue to fund the 2020 budget. However, there have been some concerns that states over-rely on the Federation account to fund their budgets. Now, there's some good news. This week, evidence from the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, shows that the 36 states, including the FCT, the Federal Capital Territory, grew their internally generated revenue, IGR, by 19% in the first half of 2019 relative to the same period in 2018. What more can states do to keep growing revenue, and what are the insights from the recent IGR report? Well, to discuss this with me in the studio is Babajide Ogunsowo, Channels Television's data analyst. Good to have you on the program.
Good evening, Millicent.
All right. Now, let's look at recent reports from the Bureau of Statistics. States are improving their revenue growth. I mean, people are wondering, it's great news, but how are they doing it? What's the strategy that's working now?
You know, the best way to describe the internally generated revenue, another word we could call it is the state-generated revenue, is this. And I got this for you. It's a present.
Thank
But
you.
here's the problem with IGR. If I were to give you this, if this, for one reason, were a real Ferrari, and you took this to your vulcanizer, what will you ask him to put into one of those tires as the tire pressure?
Well, to balance it, 40, I think.
Good.
More than that.
Now, listen to me carefully. Will you still allow me to drive you home with this car if I told you one of those tires was 40, on the other one was 5? What if the back tire was 200 and on this side it had no tire? Will you still allow me to drive you home with this beautiful car in that condition?
Yeah, I'd be very worried.
That's the exact position with our IGR. What do I mean? Listen to this. The recent report shows that, yes, we generated 691 billion naira in the first 180 days of this year. But that is not what we should focus on. What should we focus on? The report shows, like I explained with these tires, 72% of that IGR was from states in the southern region of Nigeria, and only 28% were from states in the northern region. In other words, the IGR in the country is significantly unbalanced. Significantly unbalanced. Let me make myself very clear, Millicent. Within that same report, it shows that Lagos State, within the first half of this year, generated more IGR than all the 19 states in northern Nigeria. Clearly, this car is not balanced and nobody will want to get into this car. No investor will see such imbalance and will find this beautiful car attractive. That is the challenge we have today. Speaking about growth, oh yes, we've seen a 19% growth in IGR within the first 6 months of this year relative to the first 6 months of last year. So yes, we've seen that growth. But in real terms, inflation-adjusted terms, that's what I mean. That's only an 8% growth. So we want to see the states being more creative by attracting investments and opportunities that will promote them to generate more revenue.
So those who are doing good are doing better now. But what are they doing with the internally generated revenue?
So I think two things we should quickly look at. Let's look at those first, the states that have not really done well when we look at 2019's report relative to 2015, and they need to do better. And if you look at those bottom 5 states, in those bottom 5 states, you'll see Gombe State, you'll see Anambra, Enugu. But here's what's surprising. Ogun State, despite the huge economic opportunities in Ogun State, has seen a significant decline in its internally generated revenue in the first half of 2019, which it earned 30 billion naira, compared to the first half of 2018 when it earned 43 billion naira. So in Ogun State, you've seen the biggest decline, 13 billion naira short from what it collected in the first half of this year. And the report shows the reason why. Pay as you earn has seen significant reduction in collections. So the Ogun State government needs to look at that. Some have said maybe this is the time that the governor should also announce his commissioners to ensure that they look at the opportunities within those ministries to be able to drive progress. But we can't look at those bottom 5 without looking at the top 5. So if there's to be a gold medal, who should we give that gold medal to? And based on the NBS's own report, Nielsen Wiki, from their report, looking at the states that have generated the most, or they've grown the most IGR, we've seen that River State grew IGR by 15 billion naira, Millicent. 15 billion naira more money came into the River State accounts in the first half of this year relative to the first half of last year. And that is because the state government is doing a lot to increase the internal generated revenue from direct assessment.
I must quickly ask you, when you look at your crystal ball, do you see accountability with Nigeria's taxpayers' money across the board?
If we're to quickly look at this, I see that the states need to be more accountable. And there are 3 things they need to quickly do to do that. The first is they need to publish that report that shows what are they using the money for, 1. The second is they need to publish another report that shows who is collecting the money, which is who are those contractors collecting the money. And the third that they need to do to be able to promote accountability is to be able to ensure that they show how are these funds impacting lives in their states. Because clearly, the budget and the whole revenue is to be able to impact lives. So if we can get those states, or all the 36 states, including the FCT, to present these reports, then we'll see more accountability in the use of funds, and then they'll be able to attract funds. Right. But finally, let's not forget, at the end of the day, there has to be a balance in everything we do. And clearly, economic opportunities in the country now have to be rebalanced. And that's what the federal government should also aim for.
We appreciate your time on the News at 10.
Thanks. I hope you can keep this to also remember this discussion.
All right. When the News at 10 returns, residents of Okpanam in Delta State call for help as gully erosion sweeps through their community. That's in our community report tonight. Please join us again.